Welcome to Stuff and Whiskey. I'm Josh.
And I'm Erin.
And we're back with another totally blind head-to-head where we react to the pours and the prices before we find out what we're sipping.
If it's an available product, is it worth the money?
If it's hard to find, is it worth the hype and the hunt?
Stay tuned to find out. Welcome to the channel, bringing a real-world perspective to the real-world whiskey consumer.
We are not professional whiskey tasters, but we will randomly select one of these pairs at random and give you our completely honest opinions on it without any hype or bias of the labels. You'll see us work our way through the tasting and ultimately give each pour what we call a real-world score, which is based on what we find out during the blind tasting, as well as on the price and the availability, and most importantly to us, whether we would actually spend our own money on it.
If you like blind tastings like this, go ahead and give this video a like, subscribe to the channel. That blind tastings is what we do here.
That's our bread and butter. And if you want to get a little bit more involved with the channel instead of just watching, you want to maybe do some blind flights and blind tastings with us, you can check out the video description below for a link to our Patreon community. We got all kinds of fun stuff over there. We also do giveaways and have 2 bonus episodes every week over there.
And if you're just feeling like you want some Stuff and Whiskey merch, go ahead and head over to stuffandwhiskey.com, and we've got some dad hats, t-shirts, sweatshirts, all kinds of things.
All right, let's run our randomizer and see which one of these pairs we're tasting today.
14.
14, so we have some counting to do. This is 18, 17, 16, 15, 14. Cool. We're going to get these poured and we will be right back with our first impressions on each of these glasses. All right, let's get into glass 1. Cheers. Okay, that smells like straight up sugar water candy red.
Okay.
So that smells like. It smells like candy sugar water. That is the color red.
It smells like yellow number 5. No, I'm just kidding.
Is that what you're getting?
I'm getting sugar, like very sweet.
There's like a little bit of sharpness there that I'm not loving, but the sweetness that is there is nice.
It's alcohol forward, super like ethanol.
Yeah, that's the sharpness that I'm getting is an alcohol-y type of vapor sharpness.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get into the palate.
Okay. Interesting. It first kind of tastes a little bit like rubber, like a little bit like a pink eraser.
Really?
But then it gets real sweet.
Yeah, I'm just getting sweet, cherry, thin. You know, it's not very coating, but what flavor is there is like a really cherry forward sweetness. It's nice on the palate. Let me try one more sip.
I just got my second sip and I got the same thing. Kind of a little bit like a pink eraser at first, and then just sweet. Very sweet at the back end. Okay,
I see your sweet eraser. Is it like a little bit of like a tempered earthiness right on the tip of the tongue?
It's like right up front.
Yeah.
And then it just becomes sweet.
Yeah, it's right on the tip of the tongue. I mean, tempered sweetness, like almost an earthiness, and then mid-tongue, back palate is all sweetness. Very interesting. Let's get into glass 2 and see how it compares on first impressions.
Ooh, this smells like buttered pancakes.
Really?
That's the first thing I got.
I was going banana cherry. It has some of the cherry elements of glass 1, but it adds banana into the equation. I can see a little bit of like maple syrup, butter.
I'm getting butter, like that kind of the heavy creaminess of butter in the smell.
Yeah, there's a little bit more richness in the nose on glass 2, comparatively speaking. Let's get into the palate.
Okay. It doesn't have a lot of flavor compared to glass 1, and I need to try this first.
To me, it's also bright. It's also sweet forward. There's a little bit of an alcohol ethanol edge to it, just like glass 1. Very similar in experience, the both glasses, at least to me. I need another sip as well. Okay,
that second sip helped. I'm gonna need some more time with this one.
Yeah, I'd say both of these are like, what you see is what you get. The nose.
Yeah.
We never try to think about what we're tasting. We don't know what we're tasting. Both of these are very similar as far as the experience you're getting. They're just different flavor profiles.
Different flavors.
And the flavor profiles aren't even all that different to me. Like glass 1 is cherry. Glass 2 is a little bit more like banana cherry.
See, they're different to me, but I need more time to really solidify that.
Yeah, I think you're right. We're going to clear our palates. We're going to start with glass 2, go back to glass 1, A-B, back and back on these, because this is going to be a really interesting head-to-head. So we'll be right back with our full thoughts on the taste after this. After spending some time with both these pours, what do you think? Let's start with glass 1.
Okie dokie. So for me, glass 1 gets a thumbs up on the nose.
Okay.
Just okay on flavor, and a thumbs up on overall experience.
Okay. I'm going to give glass 1 a thumbs up on the nose, thumbs up on the flavor, thumbs up on the experience. Good solid pour across the board.
Yep.
In my opinion, let's start with glass 2. Or not start with glass 2. Let's go to glass 2.
Okay.
Where are you at? Nose, flavor, and experience.
So it gets a thumbs up on the nose as well. Thumbs up, no, just okay on flavor, and just okay on experience. And I'll tell you why in a little bit.
Okay. So glass 2 for me, thumbs up on the nose, thumbs up on flavor, thumbs up on experience. I rated these the same. You rated glass 2 slightly down in experience?
A little bit.
But otherwise pretty comparable?
Yeah, they're pretty similar pours. I think
Yeah.
I maybe had a slight preference to glass 1, but I didn't like the flavor as much as glass 2. So
Okay.
it's weird.
That's interesting.
It's a weird, like I preferred the flavor of glass 2 over the flavor of glass 1. But that being said, I felt like this glass 2 was kind of watery.
Okay.
So I didn't like it. I wish it was not watery, and then I would have given this a higher score overall.
I think that's fair. For me, for glass 1, I said on the nose it was a raspberry fig bar. I eat those pretty much every morning as part of my breakfast, and that's what it smells like on the nose. It's more raspberry than the bar part of
I
it.
can get that.
But there's like a little bit of that like not like what's the breadiness, like whatever the bar part is made out of, like almost a fig Newton but with a raspberry twist.
Yeah, a raspberry fig Newton.
Yeah, so you got a little bit of that fruitiness, a little bit of that breadiness, and then on the palate I said it had all that plus sweet oak. These are both pretty simple, pretty straightforward. They're not throwing a lot of twists and turns at you. And then on the experience, I said that it had a faint but lingering sweet oak finish. The viscosity, the body weren't anything to write home about on either of these pours.
Yeah.
For glass 2, I said that it was cherry lemonade nerds. I had to actually look this up because it struck me specifically as the red and yellow nerds pack.
Oh.
But like it was and then when I smelled it, I was like, oh yeah, cherry lemonade. Like not strawberry lemonade, but cherry lemonade. Because it's a little bit more rich than strawberry.
I mean, now that you put that in my brain, I can get it. I wouldn't have gotten that on my own though.
Yeah. On the palate, all that carried over again with sweet oak, just like glass 1. And then on the finish, again, lingering. And it had like a cherry oak finish to it. So
yeah,
to me,
I did enjoy this flavor more. I just wish it wasn't so thin.
Yeah, to me, I honestly don't have a preference between these two. It's a flip of the coin. And even tonight, like if I had both bottles sit in front of me, I don't know which one I would pour. If I were going to have another pour of either one of these, I'm not 100% sure which one I would pick because they're pretty comparable. They're just slightly different. It's going to be really interesting to find out what these are. I did say that I would like to have a bottle of both of these again. And I said I'd like to pay about $30 for each of these. I don't think they're delivering much more than above that. So let's find out what we've been drinking. Let's find out the price of these first and then find out what we've been drinking.
Okay.
So in our key, glass number 1 is number 26.
Okay.
And glass number 2 is number 25.
Okay.
So you slightly preferred glass 1.
Yeah.
Flip of the coin for me.
Well, if you look at my score, I slightly preferred glass 1.
Yeah.
But the flavor of glass 2 I liked better.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
That's fair. That's fair. So let's find out price on glass number 1, number 26.
$40.
Okay. And the price, I said 30. So a little higher. Glass number 2, number 25.
$30.
$30. Okay. Wow. All right. Well, that's right on with what I said. I said $30.
I'm impressed that you actually were kind of close.
I mean,
like you weren't guessing, but you just what they tasted like to you was was what they're worth.
Simple, generally sweet, nothing to write home about. That to me is a $30 bottle. So, all right, let's find out what glass number 2 is, number 25.
25.
Yep. Start with the
Cooper's Craft Barrel Reserve.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Wow.
It's about 100 proof.
Interesting. Okay. I put 30 in the key. It's actually like $32.99 in our market.
Okay.
Some markets do get it for 30. What's number 26?
Blue Note Crossroads.
Really?
100 proof as well.
Wow. Okay. All right. Yeah. Now that I know what they are, so the Blue Note Crossroads, the reason these are in our sample pool, I'm all over the place. My brain's processing. So Blue Note and Cooper's Craft, both nice looking bottles, $33 in our market, $40 in our market. They're both 100 proof, but this has a French oak stave finish, MGP sourced whiskey from Indiana, but has a stave finish that gives it like, I'm honestly, getting a little bit of, now that I know what it is, I feel like I'm talking myself into maple syrup because
I still get erasers on this.
that's what I get with a French oak finish. And then with the Cooper's Craft, they go in and they char the barrel and then they like carve into it to give more contact surface area for the whiskey to interact with the wood.
Interesting.
So you get a little bit of char, like a little bit of extra from that, but it's pretty bright. A lot of people rate this as one of their best $30-ish whiskeys. It came across pretty sweet, pretty simple.
Yeah.
Nothing to write home about.
If it was not as watery, like finish wise,
Yeah.
it would be, to get this at $30 and have it be just a little bit less watery, it would be a great value buy.
I feel like to me, these both drank a little bit under proof tonight, under 100 proof.
I disagree. I think for me, glass 2, what's that glass 2?
Cooper's Craft,
Cooper's Craft drank a little bit higher to me than 100 proof.
You know what? Now that you mention it, we did talk about how there was like a little bit of like an alcohol-y edge, and the finish does drag out a little bit. So
it's just thin, and that's what I didn't like.
Yeah, if you're looking for smooth whiskey, I wouldn't categorize either one of these as that. They're pretty flavorful for what they are.
Yeah.
$30 or $40, $35, $40. Like, they're both, I mean, that's right on. That's right on with what I'd say. You know, I wouldn't walk out of the store without a bottle at $40 here or $35 there. We do need to do our retail and consumer scores because we are a very consumer focused channel. So in our market, availability is very good on both of these products.
Okay.
I will say Cooper's Craft does tend to come in and out. That's more of a distribution issue, a distributor issue, rather than like hype or anything like that.
Okay.
But they're both pretty readily available. You know, figure $33 on Cooper's Craft and $40 on Blue Note's Crossroads. So with that said, where are you at on glass 1? Let's start with the start.
Okay. So the price is good. The availability is good. I'm going to give it a thumbs up.
Okay. And then it's sitting on a shelf in front of you for $40. Is this a product you would actually like to buy?
That's a tough one because it's where my priorities are. I'm not all about like getting all the whiskey. I just want to get the best like small collection of whiskey. So I'm probably going to say no, I will not buy it, but I don't want to give it a thumbs down. So I'm going to say just okay. I might buy it. Okay. But it's not going to make my top selection of, if I need a cheap whiskey, it's not going to be it probably.
Right. For me, I'm going to give the Blue Note Crossroads a thumbs up on a retail score. Availability is great. Price is good for what you're getting. 40's pushing it, but I'm walking out the door with a bottle at 40. I'm not walking out of the door with a bottle at 45. Okay. That's like my breaking point on this product. But would I buy it again at 40? Thumbs up. I'd like to have a bottle of this around. There's times where I want that 100 proof-ish, slightly easier experience from some of the barrel proof stuff that I tend to gravitate towards more often. And these are both very flavorful for their proof point. So I got to give it to both of them for that. With that said, let's transition into Cooper's Craft. Where are you at? $33 in our market. Pretty readily available.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a thumbs up on retail score. Okay. Good price, decent availability. I put just okay on consumer score. Would I buy it? I'm between just okay and a thumbs up. The only thing that's keeping me from not giving a thumbs up is just the finish is kind of watery. And I know that normally that's not a thing that bothers me, but because there's flavor in this, I wanted it to be just a little bit thicker.
You expected more and you're a little disappointed. And that's
just
fair.
A little bit. Yeah. Just ever so slightly. So it gets just okay on consumer.
Sure. For me, I'm going to give it a thumbs up on retail score. I think the price is good for what you're getting. Would I buy it again or not at $30? In the past, I've said just okay on Cooper's Craft or even thumbs down. I think tonight it's hitting me in a way with that cherry lemonade note that I am going to give it a thumbs up on consumer score. Okay. So,
and I'm almost a thumbs up there. Yeah. It's such a good price. Yeah. I'm almost a thumbs up.
It is. With that said, let's get into our real world scores.
We get our reward scores by adding up the thumbs you see on the screen.
There are 10 possible points available, but this is not your standard 10-point scoring system.
No, it's more like a bell curve.
And those things work where most things fall in the middle of them. There's 10 possible points. A 5 across the board is kind of average for the price, yada yada.
A 5 is a good solid pour
score
for a good solid price.
Yeah, you've got to be outside of the 4 to 6 range to be exceptional in our books, or not so exceptional. With that said, let's get into glass 1. Blue Note Crossroads. Where are you at?
So it gets a 4 for me, a 4 out of 10.
Okay.
Pretty solid in the middle, on the lower end of the middle.
Yeah, but still in the middle.
Yeah.
For me, it gets a 5 out of 10. Right there in the middle, which means I think it's a good solid pour for the money that you're paying. Let's get into glass 2, Cooper's Craft Barrel Reserve. Where are you at?
So it gets a 3.5 out of 10, which is...
You were not happy with that finish.
No, I was just disappointed. Like, it was like, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. Like, that was how I felt about it, because the flavor was there. It was so flavorful, but then it just kind of like... meh.
Fell off, yeah.
And that made me sad.
That's fair. For me, it gets a 5 out of 10 as well, just like the Blue Note Crossroads. Good solid value for the money, nothing crazy special. A lot of people put this on their best value bourbons, and it's not blowing me away. It's not blowing my hair back, but it's good.
It
solid.
is a good value.
Yeah, I'm happy with it, but there's other things, if you can't get it in your market, don't feel like you gotta stress out and lose sleep over not being able to get Cooper's Craft. With that said, let's talk about who these are for. I think if you're used to dabbling in the 90-ish proof range and you want a little bit more flavor, and maybe you've grabbed a bottled and bond product or two, maybe honestly, Cooper's Craft is very comparable to an Old Forester 1897 bottle and bond, but it's $20 cheaper. So much better buy than that. And Blue Note Crossroads is kind of walking the line of the French oak vibe that you get from a Maker's 46. If you've tried that and you really like that kind of syrupy deepness that it has, then start looking maybe towards the Blue Note Crossroads as a little bit more proof and flavor. They're both very flavorful pours for the money, but you're really getting what you're paying for with both of these. Yeah. They're good buys. I think they're both worth buying once. Is that fair?
Yeah.
For the Resident Tightwad?
Yes.
These are both worth paying $35 or $40 for. Trying them.
See what you think.
See if you like them. Maybe you love them. Maybe you don't like them very much. But if you've tried some of the other products that we've mentioned in this conversation and you want to step up in proof a little bit, these are great buys.
Thank you so much for watching. If you have tried either of these, leave a comment below and let us know what you thought.
And we also want to plug our charity live stream that we do every October for mental health. That's a big deal on this channel. If you're going to watch, we're going to use that viewership to do something with. And so if you want to get involved in that, if you're interested in more information, hit us up at stuffandwhiskey@gmail.com. And if you want to donate a bottle, that would help a ton. You can be part of raising a lot of funds for a really good cause. That's going to be it for this week. Till next time, cheers.
Go ahead and take your time, gassing on these blends. Before I show you stuff, we have to be whiskey friends. We wanna stuff and whiskey, wanna stuff your whiskey, wanna stuff and whiskey. I'm Matt Madness, Josh, yes, I wanna stuff and whiskey on the screen. My stuff is like no other, Matt Madness. Stuffing whiskey till you scream. You never let me stuff whiskey.
Until you scream.
Whiskeying my stuff.
I'm always whiskeying my stuff.
Bourbon fluffer. I'm your whiskey stuffer.
That's so good.
Brilliant.
This is what we do in our meditations at work. Do breathe in, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3,
No,
4.
too long.
Breathe
too long.
out.
No, you can't. No.
2. Okay,
No, we're not holding for 4. That's too much hold.
No, it's not.
No, 2 hold.
1, 2.
2
Okay,
hold
okay, we
tops.
can do 2 hold.
Breathe in.
Okay, breathe in, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2. No, you would not do good with breath work.
I'm not trying to suffocate. I'm trying to relax.
You breathe. You.
All right, I got my eyes twitching now because I'm freaking breathing weird because of your breath work. Good grief. I'm going spastic over here. I'm oxygen debt.